The text came at 9:17 p.m., blinking on my phone like a dagger wrapped in calm words. Working late, don't wait. I stared at it longer than I should have, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of me wanted to ask if she was okay, if she needed anything, but another, colder part had a different thought. I typed back, almost automatically, I'm not alone either. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't even true, but it was a shield, the only armor I had against the sudden hollow ache in my chest. I put the phone down and tried to ignore it, tried to convince myself that maybe she really did have a late project or an endless stack of emails. By 10:30, the silence became unbearable. I called twice. Both went straight to voicemail. My stomach tightened. I remembered the small details that had begun to gnaw at me over the past weeks. The faint smell of perfume that wasn't hers lingering on her coat, the way she'd step out mid-conversation to check on something, and the laugh she tried too hard to hide behind when her phone buzzed in the living room. I had brushed them off. I told myself I was imagining things. I didn't want to be the paranoid husband, the man who didn't trust the person he loved. But that text changed the rhythm of everything. At 11:07, another ping. My heart jumped. It wasn't her. It was a message from her colleague, just a short acknowledgement about a report, but it lit a fuse in my mind. Why did she need to be working late? Why the insistence I shouldn't wait? And why did I feel so certain, without proof, that she wasn't alone? I started scrolling through our shared calendar, old messages, even emails she'd forgotten to delete from her phone. There was nothing concrete, nothing I could hold up and say, here it is, this is it. And yet the feeling, the slow, creeping certainty was undeniable. Then came the accidental discovery. She had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter while grabbing coffee. Curiosity, or maybe something darker, drove my hands to the keyboard. I didn't have to look far. Notifications blinked, chat threads, messages, and photos she hadn't meant me to see. It wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no explicit confrontation, but it was there in plain text, in shared jokes that weren't meant for me, in plans she made behind my back. Every small detail hit me like a shard of glass, cutting deeper than I could have imagined. I stepped back, my hands trembling, trying to make sense of the woman I thought I knew. I replayed every laugh, every touch, every whisper in the dark. Was it all a lie? Or had we both just been living in parallel stories, unaware until now? The betrayal wasn't loud. It was quiet, insidious, buried in the mundane. And yet, it shattered me completely. She came home around midnight, tired, smiling faintly, still in her coat, still smelling faintly of something unfamiliar. I looked at her and felt my throat tighten. The words I wanted to throw at her, to rip from my chest, wouldn't come. I waited, and she waited too, the air heavy with unspoken truths. Finally I spoke, voice low, steady despite the storm inside me. We need to talk. Her eyes flickered, just for a moment, guilt betraying itself before she could mask it. She nodded, closing the door softly behind her. We sat at the kitchen table, the single lamp casting shadows over our faces. She tried to explain, to justify, to plead, but every word fell into the pit of my chest, heavy and meaningless. I listened. I wanted to scream. I wanted to leave. I wanted her back all at once and nothing at all. When she finished, there was silence, the kind that presses down on you, making every heartbeat feel like a drum in an empty hall. I thought of everything I had given, everything we had shared, and I realized that some things, once broken, could never be repaired exactly as they were. I stood, slowly, painfully, and whispered, I loved you. I still do, but I can't live like this. She tried to reach for me, and I stepped back, not out of anger, but out of necessity. I had to reclaim myself, my trust, my peace. I left the apartment that night, the cool winter air sharp against my skin. For the first time in weeks, I breathed deeply, feeling the weight of heartbreak settle into something I could carry instead of being crushed by. The betrayal would always be there, like a scar beneath the skin, but so would the memory that I chose myself in the end, that I didn't let it define me. As I walked, alone but not empty, I realized that love isn't always enough. Trust is fragile, and betrayal leaves marks that echo long after the words fade. But even in that echo, there's strength. There's the quiet knowledge that you can survive it, that you can step into tomorrow with your dignity intact, even if your heart is bruised. And that night, under the pale streetlights, I felt it. The first small pulse of something that had been lost but could be found again. Self-respect, clarity, the slow, steady rebuilding of a life I would own entirely for myself.